Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to Civil Conclave presentations. Today we are going to discuss about the construction practices for a civil engineers in a project. Before commencing a project, site cleaning is a mandatory one, which consists of removal of bushes, trees, shrubs, weeds, and grasses thoroughly, including the roots, dismantling of the old structure, rubbish disposal. Provision shall be made in an estimate for a site cleaning, dismantling and disposal. This is an image of a dismantling and site cleaning pictures. Excavation for foundation, it comes into two categories. One is shallow foundation and a deep foundation. In shallow foundation, it is up to 3 meter depth, manual methods, mechanical methods, and dewatering. In deep excavation, which is more than 3 meter depth, brace cut, sheet piles, contiguous piles, soil nailing and shotcreting, diaphragm walls, dewatering, etc. Excavation, code of safety. Depth excavation more than 1.5 meter is a risk, require proper safety. Before excavation, site engineer has to ensure any pipelines, gas lines or electrical conduits beneath the earth where he is going to execute. Scaffolders and ladders are to be provided for workers inside the trench. No excavation or earthwork below the level of any foundation in the building or structure shall be commenced or continued until unless adequate steps are taken to prevent danger to any person employed from collapse of the structure or any part thereof. See, this is not the correct way of doing it, okay? No material or load shall be placed or staked or removed near the edge of any excavation, shaft, pit, or opening in the ground, as it may endanger the persons employed below. Excavated material is not to be placed nearer than 1 meter from the outer edge of the excavation, but shall be placed anywhere within 50 meters. The bottom of the foundation pit shall be dressed level in all directions, and therefore any concreting is to be poured in shall be well watered and thoroughly rammed. The foundation trenches shall be dug out to the exact width at the lowest step of the footing, and the depth shall be in accordance with the plans or ordered by the engineer in charge. Excavation areas shall be adequately lighted for night work. Warning lights shall be placed in proper sites to ensure safety and pedestrians and the vehicular traffic. At every part of the trench likely to be frequented by the public, such fences, guards or barricades as will prevent a person or a livestock from falling into the trench shall be provided and maintained in place of all time. See, this is the methodology of doing the night excavation with the proper ventilations and everything. Common hazards in excavation: quicksand, water content or degree of saturation, effect of freezing and thawing, vibration from nearby sources, adjacent loose fills, surcharge imposed by the adjacent structures. See, like this, okay. In film soil, the sides of the trench should be kept vertical up to a depth of 2 meter from the bottom and for greater depth. The trench shall be widened by along steps of 50 centimeter on either side after every 2 meters of the depth from the bottom, so as to give a vertical side slope 1 by depth to 1 as shown in the image. Here you can see this is this adjacent area, this is slopes has been provided, okay. For excavation in loose soil, refer IS 3764 1966. Where different foundation levels are necessary, follow IS 1904. If by contractor mistake the excavation is made deeper or wider than shown on the plans, the extra width or depth shall be made up with a plumb concreting and not with earth or other material at the cost of the contractor. See, this is the methodology of trench excavation. Deep excavation using contiguous piles, which is known as the shore piles. In urban scenario, multiplex malls, auditoriums require a huge parking space. Metro station below ground level require deep excavation up to 20 meter. In such a type of excavation, retaining soil is very big challenge and proven solution with some limitations. This is a methodology of contiguous piles or a shore pile, which has been done with the top of the coping. Filling and foundations. All foundations shall be refilled to the original surface of the ground with the approved material. See, this is the methodology of doing the backfilling for a foundation. The contractor shall not fill in around any work until it has been approved by the engineer. In cases where the excavated foundation soil is to be used for refilling, it shall be brought back from the place where it was temporarily deposited, and the trenches or other excavations shall be filled up to the height of original surface with this earth carefully compacted in a regular layers not more than 20 cm in thickness, consolidated by the addition of water to each layer as and if found necessary according to the direction of the engineer. See, this is the methodology of ramming the plinth. Filling in basement. Materials for filling in basement shall be defined in the central specification of the contract. Filling up to plinth level is processed in layer with the construction of the building so that the earth filling may be thoroughly consolidated by tamping of the work. Where sand filling is specified, the sand shall be clean, free from admixture of free iron material and approved by the engineer in charge. Filling in a basement shall have minimum moisture content and well consolidated in layers of 15 cm by compacting it. When filling reaches finished level, the surface shall be flooded with water at least for 20 hours, allowed to dry, then compacted and consolidated in order to avoid any settlement at the later stage. PCC for foundation. Guidelines for the field engineer. Mark the level of the concreting surface area. Ensure the size of the 40 mm in all space. Avoid using flaky materials. Control the water cement ratio. Tamp the concrete with a specified cast iron hammer. Ensure effective curing. Transfer the center line mark at the top surface of the PCC. So this is the methodology of how to do the PCC concreting. Grade beam and plinth beam. Ensure proper alignment of shentering with planks to avoid using coconut planks. Check the reinforcement as per design and ensure a proper cover. Place the concreting as per specification with a proper compaction. Provided gauges all intervals for centering to prevent bleeding and weeping of cement slurry. See, this is what we call as a plinth beam. It is at the time of shuttering, it is after the concreting. Form works. Cantilever shuttering should be avoided for sunshade. Surface for centering sheet should be plain without undulation. The runner used for shuttering should be required size and section. Avoid using wooden planks in between centering sheets instead of adjustable MS sheets. The joints of the centering sheet should be lead proof. The top surface of the shuttering should be checked for a true level. Casuarina poles of proper diameter required at levels used for strutting. No brick should be used underneath props. Cross bracing should be provided adequately. In special cases where headroom is so high, across spans and jacks may be used. In case of column centering, verticality should be ensured with side support in all sides. Round cover block should be used for columns. For beams, gauges should be provided at regular intervals and the joints should be made leak proof. This is the methodology of doing the slab shuttering with the bracings and everything. Reinforcement. Chair rod should be used wherever it is necessary. Proper cover should be maintained. In case of stirrups for columns and beams, the free end should be bent toward inside. The free end of the stirrup should be placed staggered to have one stability. The column lapping should be done in a staggered manner. Checklist for concreting beams. Beam bottom line, beam side level, beam to beam measurement, individual level and diagonal of each slab, slab thickness level shall be checked, slab thickness beam depth to be checked, support for props and slab beam bottoms has to be checked, line of external peripheral beam side should be checked, junctions of columns beam shall be checked, de-shuttering oil to be applied in the shuttering work, formwork for shuttering staircase should be checked, reinforcement be checked, proper cover for a bottom sides to be for the beams, proper cover to be checked for all slabs, electrical points, electrical conduits has to be checked, reduction in the columns as per drawings shall be done if any, proper number of chairs should be provided, doubles if any required to be provided for the elevational features, parapet bar shall be left for the balcony, staircase, etc. Rings shall be provided at the free end of each column of the reinforcement. Approval of architect is necessary. Check the availability of the required machineries. Hidden beams should be checked. Check for a sucking beams. Packing below support should be avoided. In large shaft, position of concreting joints shall be decided in advance. Concreting shall be done for the beams, then the slabs. Compaction of the concreting shall be done with the vibration tamping rods. Carpenter shall be present below the slab shuttering during concreting hour. In case of rain, the finished concreting shall be covered. Cast 6 cubes mold for testing. De-shuttering of the beam outside can be done 24 hours. De-shuttering of the inner side can be done after 48 hours. Beam bottoms can be done after 14 days up to 4.5 meter. Finishing of honeycombing has to be cleared. Date of casting shall be painted at the concreting. Concreting. Check the measuring box for dimension. The coarse aggregate should be angular and roughly cubical. The coarse aggregate should be staked in a clean platform. The slump cone should to be turned to check the workability. Before placing the concreting, the surface should be thoroughly cleaned. Mechanical vibration to be used. Avoid over vibration. The beam members and heavy concrete should be laid in layers. Concreting cubes should be prepared for all RCC work as per the quality plan. To maintain the consistency of the concreting laid, using hoist, plastic may be used. This is the checklist of what we call the concreting pour card. Curing. Any concreting hydration process is an important process. It will happen in a cool atmosphere, hence the concreting should be wetted properly. If a concreting is laid just like a born child, a just born child is not properly fed, it will die. So the child should be fed properly to gain the strength and grow with greater stamina. Like that, if a concreting is not properly cured at the initial stage, it will lead to lose its strength and life in the structure will get affected. This is the image of the pond curing for a slab. Brick masonry. Plastering. Before plastering, ensure that the entire room is fit for plastering. All concreting surface should be hacked. The brick wall should be thoroughly cleaned and water before cleaning. Maintain uniform thickness of plastering. The inner wall of plastering should be finishing smoothly, while the outer surface and colling should be with medium roughness. All corners of the walls and edges should be finished with a rich mortar. A bend may be fixed in position at floor level for rainwater. Avoid chipping of plaster surface. The top surface of the parapet wall should be finished with the inward slopes to maintain the water. This is the image of the plaster surface. Weathering course. The name itself defines the protection of weathering to the structure. The roof slab should be clean from cutting prone hammer, dust and loose material. The brick jelly may be used, should be specified size and free from dust. See, this is the image of preparation for the weathering course. Flooring. Zero level should be maintained for flooring concreting. Uniform thickness of flooring concreting should be maintained by using a gauge at regular intervals. The ceramic vitrified granite flooring should be specified thickness and the mortar should be mixed properly with the water. This is the methodology of how to do the tiles. Plumbing. The diameter of the suction, delivery and number of branch pipes from main line should be designed well in advance before starting the work. A layout of plumbing should be prepared to get it approved. All the horizontal lines should be taken along with the parapet should be vertical. In any case, if the vertical lines could not be avoided, it should be concealed. Adequate clamps has to be provided. For bathroom and horizontal pipes should be taken 45 cm above floor level and the tap should be fixed at 75 cm from the floor level. The shower point should be fixed at 2.10 meter above the floor level. The pipeline at the toilet should be taken at 45 cm above level and fixed the same level. Interconnection pipes along PVC tank should be provided at the top of the water tank. The top surface of the water tank should be smoothly finished. The overflow pipes for all the PVC tanks should be interconnected. So this is the image of the plumbing. Now do's and don'ts. Excavation. Earth. See, this you don't do it. You have to do like this with the shoring. Sand filling. Loose soil. This will not be done. This has been done like this. PCC. The same way, this is not the way it has to be done. Mixer machine, and this is the kind of footing formwork. Earth. This is not to be done. This is the way it should be done with the footing shuttering simultaneously sidewise.